Board of Directors call this meeting to order. The first item on the agenda, are there any public comments on agenda items only? No. Okay. The next item on the agenda is a strategic plan update from Cheryl Trent, but Annie is going to introduce it.
Yes. Hi, Cheryl. I'm glad you're here. As you all know, over the last several years now, Delaware County Libraries has worked with Cheryl Trent and S Brand on our strategic plan. Cheryl is also working with the Social Services and Community Programs Department group on a master planning project. And as part of that, we have been able to continue our work with her and have done a new plan update for the new year. So Cheryl's here to tell us a little bit more about that. Oh. Oh.
There we go. You have your settings are just set on that I have to request to be unmuted. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm going to cover this pretty quickly, but if you'd like at any time to stop and ask questions, feel free. And I'm certainly happy to provide more information. As Annie mentioned, this has been an ongoing process. We started basically in 2021, and our first plan was completed in 2023. So this is an update of that plan, and it was designed in collaboration with all of the member libraries through several meetings, interviews, various focus groups, and a series of meetings that created the content of the plan. And as things change over time, the plan was designed to be a living document, to be able to reflect the current situation and current issues. And as always, we know more now today than we did several years ago. So we took the opportunity to update the plan again. In this case, it was also in the context of the larger department approach, as Annie mentioned, in that the department itself was looking for ways to be efficient and effective, looking for things that perhaps the library did that they could replicate or collaborate with the library in providing services to the public. So I want to go ahead and share my screen and be able to walk you through just a little bit of the plan so that you can see it. As I screen share, what you should be able to see is the plan itself. It is designed to be read online in a magazine format. So you'll notice the formatting might, as this is the PDF of this document, the formatting might cause you to say, I wonder why they did it that way. We did it so it could be flipped like a magazine. So what I'd first like to suggest is that we've kept most, if not all, of the major themes and made them more specific. We added some context to them. And when I say we, I really mean a much larger we. My team and I certainly didn't sit in our offices and do it. We came back out, talked to people, did interviews, did some focus groups, just like we did before. We scaled it down just a little bit because this is an update, but we still did outreach within the community, the member libraries, did some surveys, and accumulated that data to help give us this feedback. So the basic concept behind this strategic plan is that our libraries are ready for the future. The way that the Delaware County community approaches their libraries is unique for each of the member libraries, but together, taken as a whole, the idea is that we are ready and prepared to address the needs of the community. Talks a little bit about the background, some of the statistics, which might be important for people that don't understand how the district center headquarters work as a county government with a council-appointed board of directors. And that's a federated system with all your member libraries and governed by the Pennsylvania Library System itself. And so with that knowledge, which not many people really understand or probably don't even care to understand, I think that helps set the idea of what DCL, or we call the library system, can be responsible for, or can actually even have a positive effect on, and what might be more the purvey of the member libraries that either the system shouldn't be involved in, or maybe even sometimes can't be involved in. And then where do those two things come together that we can collaborate, leverage, support, make things better for the community by working together? So the plan is organized around these 6 main areas, and I'll cover them very quickly. Community-centered, diverse, inclusive, and accessible, innovative and creative, leaders in lifelong learning, resourceful and responsive, collaborative and sustainable. And each section of this plan that I'll go through quite quickly has its own goals associated with it. So if we really want to be community-centered, if we're serious about that, what does that look like? And how do we do that? Now, this plan is a strategic plan, is fairly high level. It covers concepts with a little bit of detail added for context, understanding. There is a separate document that's consistently updated that's the actual implementation piece. So for example, the library system has their own implementation plan for the pieces of this strategic plan that they can affect, that they should be working on, and that they should be accomplishing. It creates accountability and it creates focus. So I mentioned the key focus areas. Here's the little definitions under each one, brief enough so that somebody could understand it, but detailed enough that you have a clear picture of what it actually means when we say we're collaborative and sustainable. Then we have 6 major goals that relate back to each of these key focus areas. So strategic goal number 1 is to reach people in all areas of Delaware County. So there's some conversation around how could we potentially accomplish this? And what should happen if we do accomplish this concept of reaching people in all areas? What this does is it creates a framework without creating a really small box to work in. So what you have is a rather large swimming pool with a couple of swim lanes. And this allows a lot of creativity, a lot of ability to collaborate and work together, but at the same time, some pretty clear ideas of what could happen if we accomplish what we set out to do. The second strategic goal was to implement professional development standards. And you can read a little bit about that, for example, and how that might work. The outcomes really are that we're able to have training within each library and within the district workforce as well, so that our community is well served, that we know how to provide them with the information that they want. And I think we all know that libraries aren't just repositories for books. You're community centers. You provide many more services than I think most communities even realize. And the training behind that, especially with the changing needs in your community that might have individuals who are unhoused or individuals who are struggling with mental health issues, behavioral health issues, drug abuse and substance abuse, may come by the library. And it would be good to know how to work within that. Goal number 3, improve system-wide collaboration. With, as you might imagine, with 26 or potentially 27 member libraries, collaboration amongst all the libraries can be difficult. I know you have regular meetings and that's super helpful, but there might be other ways that you could collaborate as well. And DCL has a good role, I think, to play there so that you can share information, share best practices, and make sure that what people that work for the library and what your patrons see is this opportunity to have a system-wide approach to serving their needs. And support the use and promotion of resources. So what that really means is that every resident in Delaware County has a library card. That's pretty big, right? That's a pretty big thing, but that would be a great outcome if we could create that. We want people to use the library as a resource. We want them to know what we have to offer, and we want them to access and use what we have to offer. The final 2 are amplify community and interagency cooperation. And so that the staff are prepared to meet those diverse needs that each community has, and they can find where those resources exist that people might need. the community's well informed, and that people can see themselves reflected when they take a look at the libraries, the materials, the way the libraries are designed. And finally, this enhanced advocacy to increase funding. I think, when it comes down to the bottom line, everything requires an investment. It might be an investment of money or time or staffing, but it always requires an investment. So how can DCL and how can the member libraries support each other and advocate for funding sources, funding stability, grant resources within the system? And then the final 2 pages are a little bit more of a wrap up, reminding people that we do work well together and that libraries are something that is shared equally across the community. You don't even have to have a library card to walk into a library and access the internet. So I personally do that all over the country. It's my favorite place to stop in town, is at each library. It's an amazing resource. And then the last page is just a little bit more information. So what we intend to do with this is, of course, continue to work on implementing it. Anytime you have a strategic plan and you set goals and you start things in motion, you learn something new that you didn't know before. You learn potentially, maybe that wasn't the best idea and we need a different idea, or hey, we can do this better and someone's already doing it and let's work toward this. And I believe it really does reflect this collaborative approach to making the library services across the entire county of Delaware better. And at that, I would be happy to answer any questions or take any feedback or comments. And Annie, if I missed something, please let me know and I'll be sure to cover it.
You hit all the high points, and we'll just mention that early next month, Cheryl will be back working with the staff on fine-tuning the implementation plan.
So I see that things are characterized as potential initiatives. Is part of the process next month to winnow the initiatives down or to triage them, or I guess what happens next?
Sure. Cheryl, I'll give an answer and then maybe you can.
Of course.
The potential initiatives, I think we're going to be taking a look at these ideas that had come up and prioritizing them. This is a multi-year plan, and some of them are from when we, initially started, because they really weren't, we build on things to get to the next. And so they stay in the plan, and then new ideas have come up, of course, over the last few years. So that's why they're potential, because we do want to give ourselves room that maybe this thing is going to work, or this new opportunity pops up that fulfills this or works towards this goal. So in that implementation plan, we'll be looking at these initiatives and prioritizing them, saying, this is a 2025 potential initiative. This is maybe 26, that sort of approach.
Does the word potential ever come out of it? Is it like, we're gonna do this in 2025?
I think in in this public facing document, it's always potential, but in the implementation plan, that's when we are getting more specific, like this is an initiative we're going to work on this year, kind of.
And I might be able to build on that just a little bit. Everything Annie said is exactly right. And my recollection as well is that what we were trying to do is create a collaborative plan with all of the member libraries, which of course is a great idea, but in reality is impossible. People can't make meetings. You just truly can't involve everybody at the level we would like to. And we never wanted to assume that just because the group working on it thought it was a great idea, that it actually everyone across all of the member libraries thought it was a great idea. So we didn't want to box people into a really tight, narrow box within the plan itself. Instead, as Annie said, the implementation plan will take those goals and those potential initiatives. We'll decide which initiatives are most important, and we will write down very specific action steps to take action toward achieving that initiative. And that's at about the time it turns from a potential initiative into a realistic initiative that we've agreed that we're going to put some time, thought, resources, action toward. And typically those action steps have a person assigned to them and a specific date assigned to them. So that's the reality. And some of those potential initiatives don't belong to the library system. They truly belong to individual or multiple individual member libraries. And as well, we don't want to do an implementation plan for them. We want them, if it's appropriate for them, to take those on or take those under consideration in their own time.
I actually have two questions. I'm on, right? Who's on the implementation team?
It's generally staff.
But
Oh.
is it the staff?
The DCL staff.
Yeah.
Because like, as Cheryl was saying, really with the member libraries, certainly many of these initiatives are going to bring together folks from member libraries, but they, there are some things that really will be library initiatives. So the implementation plan that we're talking about is really focused on what the DCL system headquarters can do.
I see. And then the I don't know, the reporting out, the quarterly, whatever you do to actually make sure that things happen, where does that go? Does that go to this board? Does it go to the county council? Where does that go?
It could go to this board, we have not necessarily done that. Other than as we've updated, but we are, certainly could add it as an agenda item.
I mean, it could go under old business and just say, here's what we tried to achieve and here's what we did achieve,
Sure.
very simple,
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, does anybody have any other feedback for Cheryl or Annie? Thank you very much, Cheryl.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to work with you, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks, Annie.
Okay. The next item on the agenda are the minutes from December 19th, 2024. They were distributed electronically by Annie Lapley to the board. Does anybody have any comments or corrections or feedback on the minutes? Oh, let me back up. When I called to order, I neglected to say that Inder, what is Inder's last name? Inder Baines is unable to attend this evening, and Jessica, what's her last name? Brangill was unable to attend. Jody is dialed in electronically. So we do have a quorum this evening. And I want to mention that before we're about to vote on some items. So for the minutes for December 19th, 2024, do I have a motion to approve?
To approve.
Okay, second. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, communications and announcements, Annie?
First, just an announcement that as is required by the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act, we did place a legal notice in the Delaware County Times advertising our 2025 meeting dates, time, and location, and a copy of that notice was included in the packet. And then another quick announcement is that our bingo license has been renewed. Each year, the Library Foundation of Delaware County sponsors a bingo license that can cover all of the member libraries. So this new license is valid through January 19th, 2026, and library staff can access it on the DCL staff website as needed. That's all.
Is that a popular item, the bingo license?
It is. Many of the libraries host bingos and several of them do fundraisers, so it is definitely
It's a great idea.
very popular.
Thank you, Annie. Okay, financial report. Annie also distributed the January 2025 financial report. Has everyone had a chance to review? Does anybody have any comments or feedback? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
A second?
A second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Administrators report. Annie, state aid distribution?
Yes, just an announcement that our 2025 distribution in the amount of $2,474,117.95 was received by Delaware County on January 6th. Checks were distributed to all of the eligible member libraries in our January 31 county check run. There were a few libraries who have not been able to submit their 23 audit. They are all in process. They just are running a little late. So those checks for those libraries are being held, but will be released as soon as their audits are in. I've been in touch with all of their directors, so they're, just getting everything finalized.
Very good. Thank you.
Yep.
2024 annual report kit.
There we go. Okay. So yes, our libraries are in the midst of filling out their annual reports. The annual report is reporting of various statistics from 2024. It's always the previous year. Each of the libraries fills one out as well as the system. We need to do those to report to the state to show that we are meeting standards so that we can continue to receive state aid. So they're very important for the libraries to be filling out. It opened on February 29th, and they are due from our libraries no later than 4 p.m. on March 10th. The board president and treasurer do need to sign a signature page that they're signing off on those reports. So those will be expected from each of our libraries. There's a lot of support offered for our libraries filling them out. We have our staff website has a lot of information. I am available to help our libraries. We've been doing a lot of that lately. The Office of Commonwealth Libraries also provides open office hours and an extensive user's guide to help the libraries fill out this report. So.
Do we have any concerns that any of our member libraries will not be able to meet the deadline?
I don't think so. I've already had some submitted. We're moving along. I've been fielding a lot of questions, and we still have, as you see there, over 2 weeks. I think I'm not feeling too nervous at this point.
Okay, thank you. And you are up on the resolution for a request for a waiver of district aid standards.
So this is new this year. It's been instituted by the Office of Commonwealth Libraries, but it's similar to a process that the libraries go through individually, which is they demonstrate that they're meeting state aid and to show that they're eligible to apply for state aid and to continue that process. So this is one for the district. Like I said, it's new this year. We are currently not meeting 2 of the standards at our offices, but that is entirely because we are not housed in a library, as the majority of district library centers are in Pennsylvania. So we're not meeting the public service hours or the collection size. Obviously, we are not a public outlet, so we would not be doing that. And this is there are a few other district library centers in Pennsylvania that are set up as we are, where they have separate administrative offices. So this is accepted by the state. We've been doing it since the 80s, I think 1984. So we have been assured by the Office of Commonwealth Libraries that this will not be an issue. This is more of a paperwork, making sure that we're meeting all of the legal standards that we need to meet by applying for this waiver. And the Office of Commonwealth Libraries is in the process of finalizing new regulations. They are being submitted for review, et cetera. So that could be a year and a half, 2 years away. We're not really sure. But we're assured that also that will not be part of the new regulations, that we should not have to continue filling out this waiver application. So we would probably just need to we are told, do this for the next couple of years or so. But there is, as you see here, a board resolution is necessary, and we will also need officers to sign the resolution signature page.
And is this something we have done in the past?
No, it's new this year. There's been a lot of new folks in the state aid office at Office of Commonwealth Libraries, and it's a good thing that everyone is really paying attention to making sure we're dotting our i's and crossing our t's. And so that's why we're seeing some of this new reporting that's being required.
Okay, so what is the motion? Before you do that,
I just had one question. The paperwork says for the fiscal year 2023, 2024.
Yes, we ask forgiveness, not permission.
Yes.
It's quite odd, but that is the correct. So in 23, 24, we weren't meeting the standard. And so now yes.
So it's sort of an endless cycle of we prove that we met the standards. Once we are deemed worthy, sort of that we are meeting those standards, then you apply for state funding. Then if they approve that, then we submit a plan. And then if they approve that, they send us the money, and then we report on it in the year past, which is what we're doing for 2024. We're reporting on the funding that was sent to us.
And we don't have to go back any farther into the past?
I think that's as far back as we go. Usually it's a 2-year cycle.
Okay.
Do we have to have a motion that we vote on, or do we just sign this?
I think you would, the resolution is in the packet. So I think we would, yes, need a motion to approve the
This
resolution.
Okay.
And then afterwards, I'll have you sign it.
And
Okay,
is
but-
this sorry.
I'm sorry. So is it the current slate that we just voted on?
Well, we haven't voted. We can approve this resolution now, and then the people who sign it will be the new officers or can be
Okay,
the new
So,
officers.
so we have the president, the treasurer, but we don't have the secretary.
She can sign it electronically.
Okay,
After, if it's approved. And this document was provided by the Office of Commonwealth Libraries. So this is exactly what they want, the resolution to read.
okay. So I make a motion to accept the board resolution for the waiver of district aid standards. Should I read the? Okay, as included in the packet this evening. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Okay, let's see. Committee reports, nominating committee. We had at the last meeting, we assembled a nominating committee, and Karen Stanton is on that committee, and she's going to report on it.
The nominating committee is pleased to submit the following slate of executive officers: Helen McGrain, President; Jody Allen, Vice President; Virginia Maroon, Treasurer; and Jessica Brangle, Secretary.
Do I have a motion to approve the slate?
I move to approve the slate.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, old business, the only, there's nothing listed on the agenda, but we did one as, oh, sorry, I didn't have my speaker on. There's nothing listed on the agenda, but we did want to mention that County Council, as you know, had requested an evaluation of the system, and they brought in a consultant to review us, who made a bunch of recommendations, and we've had committees comprised of the various libraries meeting. We did have a high-level meeting of representatives from those individual groups, and we have a focus now on what items we're going to start to hone in on, and we will have one more meeting, and then we'll have a little bit more to report on. Is that basically a good way to summarize it? Okay. So in the April meeting, hopefully we will have more to report on regarding the system-wide evaluation. Public comments. This is the point of the meeting where if anyone is attending the meeting, if they would like to make public comments either on agenda items or on other items that they wish to bring to the attention of the board. Just state your name and which library.
My name is Pascal. I'm the treasurer at the
Could you talk?
Providence.
Oh, hi.
Thank you for this opportunity to tell you about a very special event that we have upcoming. Our book sale in April, and you might already know that it's one of the largest on the East Coast, but it's very special this year because it's our 55th anniversary.
Very nice.
And we are celebrating in a big way. So we want to let you know the dates are April 26th through the 28th, which is Saturday, Sunday, Monday. There are over 30,000 books for sale. They're all donated by members of the community. This is a significant fundraiser for us, but we're doing some special planning, details of which we will reveal later. But besides the 30,000 books, we have audiobooks, magazines, DVDs, CDs, vinyl records, puzzles, games, sheet music, and vintage and ephemera. So it's really a spectacular event. The book sale has its own website, librarysalemupl.org. So again, that's librarysalemupl.org. So please check it out. We're very excited about this. And again, thank you for giving us the opportunity to tell you about it. Be there or be square.
Could
Thank
you
you.
just repeat your library again? Because you weren't
Media.
at the microphone.
Media Upper Providence Free Library.
Great. Thank you.
Sounds great.
Good luck. Okay, I guess there's no further public comment. So hearing none, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next meeting is April 17th at